Not much.
Yeah,
No, there's only a couple.
no, there isn't a lot, and most of it has been gained since we became a municipality. Yeah, there's other little pieces up on the top of hills and stuff like that.
Little piece in
Garbage.
the bush over here.
Garbage
Push
that
over
they
here, you can't get to it.
Yeah.
Right. Secret
It's easy to
spot
give it away.
under a tree.
A lot of those cliff accesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can cliff jump it.
Access the
Yeah,
village
cliff
jump.
jumping. I'm just thinking what else would have the potential, and you see, we get those things like the west side play area that they're gonna put in there. That's coming through from a development, obviously.
Yeah.
And, that's the only way we can get the land. Seymour Bay, we got through development.
What do you have at Roger Curtis?
No, just pretty much as you see it there. We've
Just the
got-
trails,
we've got-
right?
Yeah, and then Sandy Beach.
Did you
and-
turn those
and
trails
the
into frisbee golf?
Into what?
Frisbee
Miniature golf?
Frisbee golf.
Oh, frisbee golf. You could try.
I'm just, it's an activity.
What happened to our
That's a
frisbee
huge
golf
thing.
guy?
It just
He
died.
just died because he didn't get the support.
Oh,
Like right along the
Yeah,
trail.
he's willing to put it up anywhere, right? Yeah.
So as people are walking the dogs and stuff, people
You
are gonna
play,
throw.
you play frisbee into a little, it's like these nets. It's awesome.
People
Weren't you
get
here for that
hit by it.
presentation? We were in the, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I see, I don't have a vision.
On the side of that trail that is
I did not very much.
we
I
have
think
it
it
at that
might
park
be
when
10
then
feet.
became the axe throwing park.
Yeah.
Yeah, Veterans
How
Park.
long did
But
that happen?
you can still do it
It's
in the
not,
park.
you know what? Everybody thinks that it's been sort of taken over as a loggers festival, and it hasn't. I mean, it's a municipal park, and it's still athletic park for some unknown reason. There was a presentation last night, he wanted to,
The disc golf there.
well, yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Be fantastic, why not?
Get hit by an axe.
You can do it.
so-
No, no.
But I don't think they're
You
throwing
can do it
axes.
every It's back, I just actually talked to Gary, and he said, "You've been up there lately?" And I said, "No, I haven't been up there since the axe throwing," but, he said, "It's all growing in," he says, "The grass is really doing well, it's really starting to look good up there." But, yeah, do the golf up there. Why not?
That'll do
Be
well for older
fantastic.
teens.
Pardon me?
Older teens, mid
Oh,
teens,
sure.
people play that.
Oh,
For
absolutely.
And,
an
it
action-
should be used, because if it's not used, well,
Well, maybe an action item for this commission then could be to explore the underused potential of some of the
Yes.
municipal properties and explore reasonable ways that that land could be better utilized. For
Yes.
example, the frisbee or water park or any number of things, because that could be a specific action item. It's to, let's look at what we're not using, let's come up and explore ideas of how we might better utilize that.
I like it.
That sounds really good.
I'm a
you could
such
get
a-
you could have a quick presentation, which is never quick from Sue Allen.
You have
As
a-
chair of the Parks, Trails and Greenways Committee, and you'd get all the information you ever wanted and more.
And then some.
And then some,
My dear's
so,
the camera's on, okay.
Yeah.
The camera is
Oh,
on.
she knows everything about that.
Yeah.
So some
I
of
mean,
these
there's
things-
a
I think
vast
we
amount of
need
knowledge
to-
there.
We need to contact the disc golf guy again.
Sam, so he's my ex-stepbrother.
Oh, really?
You broke up with your brother?
Once removed.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we should talk to him again and help him
He is like so keen.
help him with the,
Has he been up there?
Yeah,
yeah.
he's been up there. He also,
Oh, okay.
he approached Metro to do it just down the cove, right
Yeah.
where the boat is.
Yeah,
Because it's such a low impact. It's like these tiny little platforms you stand on, you set them up.
yeah.
And then it's just a post with some chains.
And
You
I,
can take
you know,
one
my
anytime,
vision
there's
is
no
we get
impact.
different people or different companies
Like,
to sponsor a,
Communities
Yeah,
sponsor
whole-
teams.
you know,
Yeah.
a whole,
A league.
what do you wanna call it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get, you'll get a league one too.
Why, if you tried doing it on the golf course?
Oh, they wouldn't let us on golf course.
No.
Why?
Because that's not golf.
It doesn't matter.
That's, that's
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
Oh,
to
I
them.
think it
Really?
does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think.
Because
they-
you can't have discs and balls.
They're all
It's
It's
just
very
like-
community oriented. And more people come out of the golf course, more people are exposed to the golf course. As far as I'm concerned, it'd be a good sales thing for him.
Yeah.
I could talk to Alan Morris, he's president of the golf course.
Actually, you know what?
See if you just-
The trail that goes around it, that's a good idea. You know the trail that
Oh,
goes
yeah.
around it?
Yeah, you can
Right
use
there.
that for sure, yeah,
But
yeah.
a lot of that trail isn't very wide, like it's the
No,
road's
certainly
right there.
not.
But that-
Right,
that's
and
the
because
cool-
I
that's
know
the
when
thing
I
about frisbee
fall,
golf.
frisbee, it's gonna end up on the road.
But that's the thing,
Yeah,
about frisbee
that's
golf.
right.
There are, you have like
First tee.
8 discs you carry a backpack, you have like a hammer, you got ones that go this way, ones that go that way, you have putter discs, it's a
So
whole
I
thing.
can list them all on the.
All of it, everywhere.
So what they want is, they want a scheduled place where you can go.
You
all
go,
the
yeah,
time.
so you actually have a little,
I
it's
just
like a
want
little
it all to
tiny
go
area with gravel you set up, and this is where you get the throw from, you just stick it in there.
Oh, okay.
You throw.
How long are the
Keep
holes?
saving it.
Yeah.
So this, it's just like golf, so they can go from 150
400
yards
yards.
or 50 yards, all the way up to 300 yards.
Oh, wow.
And they're all over the lower mainland and,
There's
well, all over.
there's 4 in Whistler,
And
there's
people
6 in
travel
Squamish.
to do that.
Wow.
And
So
it
you-
isn't a
Oh.
permanent
Penn
structure.
Station has one
Even though-
that my daughter played all the time.
That
She and
is
her
very
friends
cool.
went
No,
out
is
in
it
the
a
evening and
permanent,
they played disco.
like, are
And she's,
the,
you know,
are
No,
the,
it's just
That's
like
what
you
she
take
was
a metal
22, 23.
pole, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Put a
and that
hollow
was
hole
a
in the
great
ground,
thing
you
to
take
do.
a
And
sledgehammer,
they,
and you
people would come
slide
over
that
to
hole into
play.
that.
So
You
much
can just
fun.
take that out,
You
and
have
put
a
another
vast
glove.
amount of
And
space.
it's done, because I'm
And
just
it's gone.
thinking, if
It needs
athletic
space, but it
park,
doesn't actually take space.
if
You just
it
need,
can
like,
be
you could
removed
have
so
it
that
in
when
the
they do the
forest,
disc
as long as
throwing,
there was a
or the whatever.
clear
Clear
way.
way there.
Axe
Trees to get
throwing.
there.
Yeah.
And the fun
Like,
would be
they would
that
never
lose
use
it in
weight
the
that
That
forest.
Right.
seems like a really great
Yeah.
place for that to use, especially because it's already been on the agenda before.
Yeah.
And
We've had
that's-
a great presentation on it. I'll get
Like,
Sam to do it again.
well, and because I think you're right, if athletic park, if it doesn't get used, I mean, use it or
It's
lose
not
it,
used except for
right?
2
Like,
weeks right now. That
Yeah.
doesn't multiple.
If this, if
Multi-purpose.
this golf
Disc golf.
disc golf
Yeah.
is set up there, it
Mhm.
can be removed, so when the axe throwing is on, it can be taken out. But it can also be part of the whole
Well, you wouldn't
Sure.
leave
thing that's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on there, right?
The
Like
holes would be
the whole-
cemented in.
The holes are permanent,
Yeah.
but the holes are not.
You could say,
You can take the ball
closed,
pieces.
closed for this session,
You can
Yeah.
pull them out and unbolt them.
unless you're wearing a super heavy helmet.
Right.
Invisible axe throwers.
But I mean, there's probably, if we put it out there, there's probably any number of ideas for how that park could be used by different interest groups, or people have enjoyed different activities.
But you know what, okay, well, I'm gonna say this, we're not parks and trails.
Yeah.
So we have to be a little bit careful about all our plans, because I'm sure parks and trails have ideas of what they want to see happening in these green spaces as well.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how it came up, but Bonnie Brokenshire, who's the manager of parks, the mayor and Kathy wanted us to go out to the parks and look at options for what could happen out there.
Okay.
I think the mayor has an interest in activating the parks a little bit more, so he'd probably be quite interested to know that this conversation is happening.
Yeah.
So we did do a little tour, Bonnie and I, and, you know, just right off the top of my head, we were looking at just having, similar to what we had discussed, where you invite, you know, have a little recreation program that happens in various spaces. It doesn't need to always be at school or, but to have like a teddy bear's picnic out there or something for preschoolers, and, because some of the parks are really nice spaces, they're just
Oh, yeah.
totally not used.
Yeah.
You know, what could be in those places that would activate that space. So I think the disc golf and all, I think it's a great conversation to have, and I think it's,
Could we get together with Bonnie and the mayor and go on a little tour of what is available? Is that something that is feasible?
I think
I'd
so,
be interested.
I don't, yeah.
What parks
Well, we
did you
could
guys
also-
tour? Which ones did, just to give us an
All of
idea
the municipal parks,
And
so,
can you just run-
the Kate's Hill
Yeah.
one,
Mhm.
in front of Tiernanog there.
Yeah.
We went out to the West Side Playground. Athletic Park, or the Logger, whatever it's called,
Logger
Athletic
Sports,
Park. We went there.
Veterans Park.
How did you
Veterans
become
Park.
Veterans Park?
I don't.
Nobody knows.
They just stuck a name on it. Now they're looking for a name change, so I don't know how that's gonna roll.
There is a little park, it's quite dark on, the trunk road there, Adams Road, off to the side, about midway down, kinda as you get towards Alderwood Farm, there's a swing set
Really?
Sure.
Yeah,
Really?
really,
No,
on the
that's-
right side if you're going to.
on the right
Yeah,
side.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really dark and wet in there.
Yeah,
Yes.
but there
There's
is
a trail and you
a swing
can ride your
set,
bike through
so
there.
if you're going west, it's on the right-hand side?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it says something, it's called Buchanan Park.
Buchanan Park.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And what about Aaron's Field?
And Aaronsfield, we went up
You
there
were
as
there
well,
too.
yeah.
And again, there's nothing ever
Nothing
These are
really
just
happens up there
big
except
fields
my
there.
kids' birthday parties.
Oh, well,
But
yeah.
it's true, right?
Well,
They're-
this might tie in also with the
Aaron's
idea of
Field,
doing some
Aaron's
pop-ups.
Field.
For
Yes.
example, you know, we could try to, you know, because I like the pop-up idea and experimenting with that with different age groups and different types of activities. And so one of the things the pop-ups could do was to cite whatever the pop-up activity was in one of our lesser used areas. You know,
Yeah.
like we're gonna have a dodgeball game.
Yeah.
I don't think you're allowed to play dodgeball anymore, because it kind of.
You can. We did it
It's
for.
It's not a, anyway, I'm
You
just
don't
trying to
use
think
it
of
for
something where you don't need
dodgeball
equipment.
Yeah.
There's dodgeball.
Is there, okay, I don't know.
We did do dodgeball at a Move for Health Day event a few years ago, and at one point we had the men against the women, and there was a little bit too much spousal. We had to stop it.
There was a
for
little
second,
bit, but I'm just saying, because
competition.
I was just saying dodgeball, because it's one of those things where people
Yeah.
can show up and you don't need equipment
you
or.
know,
Yeah.
Or
a lot
anything,
of
absolutely
picnic
anything.
or all
Yeah,
those
like, and
things,
it doesn't
right?
have to be sports either, yeah, it
No.
can be a social thing, it
Yeah.
can be, but to, rather than, you know, when we're talking about the pop-up idea, that, using some of the, use those as, use some of the alternate parks or the parks that are being underused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, let's all, you know, here's a pop-up, we're all gonna go do this at this time in this little park.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I think it's nice to get people around the different parts of the
Yeah,
island.
because a lot of people
Yeah.
don't even
Yeah.
realize.
they
Acquaint
don't.
them with what's out there.
Yeah.
But the thing about a couple of those parks, like, how hard are those to get to? I mean, even Veterans Park, there's no bus that's going.
Oh, absolutely, I know, that
There's
is,
no
that
bus
is a
that's
big
going
problem.
up into.
Into that area.
Yeah, it's like, you know, a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers wanna go and
Well, they'll
golf,
go
and
up
they can't,
there.
they can't get up,
They
they can't get up to the
can't,
golf course.
Yes.
It's a long.
Right.
So there is
Yeah.
some talk about getting some of the buses out there.
Yeah, that interesting that buses.
Even the one
on
up
by
Kate's Hill.
demand or whatever it was
We
called.
have,
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
interesting.
Wow. I
Where's our
heard about that.
barriers?
Barriers,
Address
yeah.
barriers and
Barriers,
prevent participation,
transportation.
but we,
Yeah.
yes, we do have transportation, but all we have in, or support ITMP.
Time.
What
We
is
need
that?
Well,
Uber,
if we're-
Uber.
What is that? What is
We
that?
do.
The other
Phone
thing is, well,
Uber.
since we, I mean,
What's
realistically
ITMP?
I think
speaking,
it's the transportation.
Integrated
That's the
transportation
transportation.
master plan.
yeah.
Support
Well, my attitude is, you know, we need to work with what we have, not with what we wish we had.
Yes.
So, like,
Yeah,
when
let's
you're
just put it at the
planning
community center.
yes, you know, in the pop-up thing, if we're gonna put it in a park that's harder to access, you know, you can say to set up some sort of ride share, or, you know, if you're coming from this side of the island, you know,
Put your
you
name
could
here,
put
yeah.
your name here, or stand on the
Yeah.
side of the road and wave, and the people going by will, you know, you can always organize those things.
Whistler has a really good ride share. Anybody heading to Vancouver or back or whatever to Squamish, they have some kind of a website you just go on and people pay a little bit for
Yeah.
gas and stuff, but
Yeah.
it works really well.
Well, it's amazing system.
Yeah.
You look at Uber, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we should have our little phone Uber.
I think we will have.
Wrong committee, but we are looking for spots on that.
No, I'm not, no.
Lines are getting very blurry in this room.
I'm kind of grumpy as it is, so.
Oh.
Two committees.
So how are we doing on the action item thing?
Oh, you've been really
You
good
are
about
so
putting
good.
it.
Yeah, I think we're,
So the gallon orange.
yeah, we're doing pretty good. Does anyone have any other or action items or things that they'd like to put on here before maybe we can narrow down a few priorities?
I just had disc golf to add to it, was that?
Yeah,
that's
so
all.
I've
It's
got
on
that.
Oh, yeah.
I got that.
What do we do for seniors? You know, I just think of the community center, there's two areas, there's two demographics, obviously, that we've been a little weak on in the planning department, and that is the teens and the seniors. I just.
So at the moment, and I think this is in the programming report, we set aside an hour on Friday afternoons in the weight room and said it was just for seniors, and it filled up in about 10 minutes.
That's great.
There's six women who come every Friday and work out together.
And 6 is way too many.
And 6 is unbelievably, yeah, they're unbelievably crowded in there.
But they're doing it,
But
right?
they're doing it,
there,
so I
that's
think the
awesome.
fact that stuff like that happens, and if you put it out there, it happens really quickly.
So it's more about programming.
It's
than
more,
Yeah.
facility.
it is more about facility though, it is
Yeah.
about space too.
Well, yes,
Um,
obviously.
Especially during the day, seniors don't like to go out at night,
No, that's right.
so they prefer to have their
And not too early.
activities during the day, not
And
too
not too
early.
late.
That's right. And not around
You
a
can't
meal
miss
time.
lunch.
But also there are some really good programs
It's true. I-
at the seniors, whatever that place is called on Seniors
Bone
Road.
court?
Bone Court,
Oh.
yeah, they've got a lot of, Scott's doing a lot of really
Yeah,
Yeah,
good programs
Sky.
for seniors.
this guy's awesome.
It's a very small space though, and if you
Yeah.
wanna get more people involved, Bone Court is not big enough. It's tiny. And so there's, like, I probably, well, at least there used to be 15 or so people that would come regularly. And that maxed it out. So, it's gone as far as it can. I think
Yeah.
we should, I'd love to see a space in the community center that is more accessible to them, and we can get bigger groups.
And there will be with those rooms that can.
Yeah, the
kind of-
small multi-purpose room
Yeah.
would be really
But
great.
also
in
Collins
there.
Hall too is really good for groups. If you can,
Yeah.
The seniors
We've done that
might be a group to specify some pop-up activities in the parks.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then they're socializing, maybe
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
even a little potluck.
Well, when you look
And
at
can
one of
bring out
the
lawn
what was
bowling
a,
or something.
Yeah.
or something
exactly,
like
what
that.
was a
For sure.
raging
Yeah.
success is the
Lunch.
community lunch. That's
Yes.
So, because
Yeah.
it's, pretty central and people love it and it's an opportunity to socialize. So I think like the pop-up things, I love the idea that there's, in the community center particularly, there's, gonna be some designated areas and, and that's programming too, like yoga and stuff that's specifically for older people. But I think that, pop-up stuff like lawn bowling or even just a walking group or, doesn't need a specific facility, but what it needs is organization
Yeah.
that's directed for, for the senior
Have
population.
you still got the carpet bowl and stuff?
Yep.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's in the dungeon of the school dungeon.
could the soccer field be used for non-bowling when it's not in use for
Oh, God, no.
soccer? No?
Oh,
Ah,
Oh, God, no.
Okay, why not?
you mean the grass?
It's not in good shape to do that. If you're gonna do green space outside the community center, you just build a proper sandy grass thing and mow that nicely.
But were you thinking of the artificial turf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I did the grass, I did the grass, sorry,
I'm
I think
thinking
soccer's
because
a
it seemed
grass.
like it was so consistent that it might work. I
No,
don't
that
know.
won't, no, that still won't work.
No?
No.
Why?
It's not the right height for a lawn bowling.
well, it wouldn't have to be
But
perfect.
come on now, if you're gonna lawn bowl.
It's
Championship.
not gonna have a perfect lawn bowling field unless a huge group of lawn bowlers
Yeah.
come forward and say they're
They
gonna
want
build
a
a,
specific.
build themselves a place.
Oh, you want a
How
lawn
about
bowling
a
curl, those
how
are my
about a-
two.
That's right.
How about a croquet, a croquet
What's wrong with
league?
bocce? You can play bocce in any kind of
Yeah,
field.
bocce ball, croquet, a lot of stuff you can do. You just need,
Volleyball.
yeah,
Oh,
you,
yeah, that was curling I wanted on there, but.
Yes, I had somebody asking for curling today too.
Okay,
so, but I think the
coming.
point.
okay,
the
what
point-
happened to let's deal with what we have
Yeah.
and not go over the
I'm
top.
just throwing it as an action item.
But
Build
could
a-
you, but could you
build a
not
curling
do some, like bocce or something on
You could do
the,
bocce.
yeah.
And
It
isn't
wouldn't
there-
be bad if it,
It wouldn't
On
hurt.
the
We
turf
have,
field?
and
Not
we
anymore,
have,
no.
we have bocce, we have croquet and.
Yeah, and isn't there curling that
So
you can
it's-
do on non-ice?
Here, right, we can just.
Not,
Just have to
yeah, there are,
organize, it's really
yeah.
I
about
think there's something that you
organizing
can do on
Yeah,
a
I've
smooth
seen
floor,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you could have curling.
But Shauna, we can't use the turf field during school hours, though, right? And that's the seniors' hours, their hours
Yeah.
would be like 10 to
seniors are so loud.
3.
I think
I will be.
maybe able to negotiate something.
Yeah, true. Yeah. You don't qualify it.
We've tried to negotiate some time and it doesn't
hard.
always go well. Cause you wanna do it in the nice weather.
Yeah.
And the kids, the classroom teachers also wanna bring their kids out in the nice
Oh.
weather.
Yeah.
And they go onto
And then
that
it's-
soccer field?
They go onto
Yeah.
the turf field.
They're on there all those are.
we've kind of grandfathered in 2 hours of boot camp a week, but I can always
Even that
ask,
is
but
iffy.
It's not.
You can tell they're not
It's for a
always happy
specific
about
group,
it.
it's
No.
for the grounds.
Yeah,
that
for
you
the-
come
But we
and
could
live with
use-
them.
We could
So
also
really-
use the meadow, couldn't we? That's a Crippen Meadow. For,
Not for lawn bowling, I don't.
Well,
think.
we
It's
have-
Because
for
that's
Some-
metro,
some-
metro.
It's metro, we can't
so
use
we
that
can't, like for a pop-up or
municipal-
municipal thing, it's just right off the table, eh?
Well, we would have to get a permit, and we'd probably,
Right,
like,
okay.
it's not an easy,
Okay,
For,
okay.
like even
Temporary
basic
use
croquet and stuff like that?
if it was a program that was happening, yeah, I think
Schedule.
given that we have a really good relationship with Metro Vancouver, we wouldn't start doing things like that to,
That's where frisbee golf should be big enough.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Maybe we have a good
that
relationship
again.
because
That's
we
where
haven't
frisbee
been
golf should
pushing.
be.
Well, exactly, maybe.
Maybe we
Okay,
need
we'll
to
never
push
mind
a
that
little
then, I
bit.
mean, we just said
Well,
we
they
have all of a
can't just
sudden
tell
use
us we can't
space,
do
we'll
anything
use
on their
this.
park.
No, but they've also
But it's
been
getting to those spaces.
Well,
What's
and
the-
that's
open
what I was
to some
just
stuff as well.
thinking.
That's the
Put it on
catch
the
22 we
west-
have,
Is the
right?
transportation
That's what we're just
is
chasing
the
ourselves.
biggest
We've done this.
barrier for seniors. I
Right.
think. I think that's like, to
Transportation
get
is-
them
yeah.
to these things. So I think if we were gonna do any pop-up events in one of our underutilized fields, we would have, that part of that pop-up event would have to be transportation to and from.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
can we do that? Is that possible? Like, are we in a position to provide a program that has transportation?
No, but we're in a position to encourage people to organize transportation.
Yeah, they have to
There's
organize
a lot of the
themselves.
a lot of seniors, they're are very used to driving each other around, or have friends and family who are very used to driving because, you know, that's just life on Bowen.
And we
So it
can
might-
approach Peter King as
Yeah.
well. I don't
Yeah.
know what availability he has now with his buses, but he is the most amazing man. And most, he goes out of his way to make things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
difficult because he's off island all the
All day.
Yeah,
day
but
now,
he doesn't,
but-
he could organize one of his drivers if a bus is available
Yeah.
at certain points during the day, right?
Yeah,
So,
And-
there's that option. And he's
Yes.
done it many times, like, he used to take the seniors into town
Mhm.
to
Yeah,
shop or.
that's right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Do all those things, so.
Yeah, and Sky is used to finding ways to get people around, you
Yeah.
know.
So what we're
have
saying is
the
if we
IPS
provide it, they
bus.
will come, potentially?
I think so.
Or if we put, my idea is with all of this stuff, I have such a strong opinion about this, that we're not here to push people or even motivate them. We are here to create an opportunity and then, and give people, if somebody's got the energy and the drive, we put the ball there, if they pick it up and run with it, great, and then we'll support.
Support it.
Mhm.
But we're not there to, in my mind anyway, you know.
Initiate it?
We're not there to initiate or to drive, really. I mean, you do a great job at, you know, our recreation department does a great job of programming and all that stuff, that's for people. But I think, you know, we want to expand and create opportunities. But if we put something out there and people don't respond, they don't. Or if they can't find a way to get there, we realize, okay, that's not a good idea because we just can't get people to, you know. I really have the sense that it's not our job to fix all the problems, it's our job to say, here's something, we'll help you, do you want to take it on or not? And
Here's
people
an
will either say
opportunity,
yes
yeah.
or no.
Absolutely. There's too many problems, we can't possibly.
Well,
fix
exactly,
them
I mean,
all.
our scope is pretty narrow, and what's more, you know, it sounds like an old biddy, but, you know, it's good for people to take their own initiative and push something, and then they have ownership of it, they feel really good.
Absolutely.
And you know, the people who are unnudgeable, we can't nudge anyway.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But there are people there with energy to go forward, they just need that ball put in front of them, and then they'll run, and that's our job.
Yeah. And they may bring other people along with them.
Well, that's it, then they will create that momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I have to be mine.
no,
No,
you don't,
it's-
son,
it's
it's
all
all,
very good.
you've
Really
been
great,
great.
it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, just gotta provide opportunities, as
yeah.
we're suggesting.
Now, a little segue here. We were trying to play tennis at the school on the weekend, and there were a slew of young boys up on the roof. And then they went to another roof when we told them they shouldn't be on one roof. They
Was
went
this
off
a
to
school-
another
a
roof
school roof?
at the school, and they were like up there with cones, and they had all kinds of.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, well,
No one's been out there.
all right, now, and I understand that they're not supposed to be playing on the roof. Is that correct?
I would guess not.
Just a wild guess.
So,
You see
they-
up there.
we didn't have a climbing wall, so they decided to climb on the
Maybe we
roof.
should have a climbing wall in the community center.
That's why
climbing
I've been
wall.
pushing for a climbing wall.
And what about parkour?
So they can climb up to the.
Climb up to
They can build their strength.
We'll help them get on the roof of the new building.
And then we'll have a trampoline in the ground that they can jump off the roof into the trampoline.
Just file it under liability.
Yeah,
The-
I can see that one.
No,
being-
climbing wall is something I've always wanted for these.
So how many little hoodlums were on the roof?
Well, it started with one, and then it ended up with about 4. And anyway, apparently there were some parents there waiting to get into the tennis courts to have a party. And they were upset because we were actually playing tennis on the tennis
Oh dear,
court.
like a kid's birthday party.
Well, they've done it before apparently, and it was the parents. The parents had the party in the tennis court. Yeah, they hauled in tables and chairs.
Oh
and
my God.
They did.
games and
No,
whatever they did,
no.
and had a party in the tennis courts. You didn't
Right.
know about this?
They
So
need to
anyway.
rent.
That's not allowed.
I know, I know.
Says right on the sign, this is for tennis.
More anarchists.
These were the parents of
No
the
end to
kids
them.
who were up on the
Up
roof.
on the
There
roof,
is a
so-
pop-up event.
There's a pop-up
There's a
event.
pop-up event.
That's
Where?
right.
You just said like tables, you love
Sure was. Sure was a pop-up event.
You got a sign, there you go.
Anyway, so I just throw that in for what it's worth, but yeah, climbing walls.
So what about parkour? Is that super expensive for outdoor activities and teenagers? They're kind of structured, they're kind of not structured. Climb.
I know that the gymnastics club has done parkour.
But isn't it supposed to be outside?
Well, it could be anywhere.
It
You have to
can be
leap off things, so you
It's
can,
fine.
they can have mosques.
Or you know
like
what
they
the
leap off,
latest
right?
thing is
They're doing on the
ninja
roof.
gyms.
Oh, yeah, let's have a ninja gym. The salmon ladder.
They should do a
painful
ninja
to
gym
watch.
outside, right? The climbing the salmon ladder,
Yeah, yeah.
like you could do all that outside, ninja gym.
No.
No.
We're back to liability.
Yeah.
Back to liability.
That's a private gym that somebody can do on their own private.
There's a
land.
lot of signing waivers with that one.
Yeah, a lot of paperwork. a lot of-
Yeah, that's, no,
Metro Parks might take it on.
Oh, for sure.
I don't,
All right, do we want to review some action items or set some priorities, or does anyone else have any other?
well, we should probably, let's see if we can set some priorities, because if we could go on talking forever.
Yeah.
We do need to just,
Well, you've set some.
It is a
priorities
10-year
in your
plan, so
right.
Comments.
if we can kind of narrow down what we might want to do in 2018.
Well, we would like to see some development at the recreation community center facility outside. However, we can raise our voices in that direction.
Well,
I need to change some of the formatting here.
I don't think we have a lot, I mean, we have said.
In terms
we're
of
totally
supporting
support
it.
And we're for it, but it's up to the,
It's a high
Can
priority.
can we come to meetings with placards and petitions and things? Would
Yeah,
that
you can
help?
do whatever you like.
I don't think it needs.
But I can tell you that we're very constrained by money.
Yeah,
You know, there's no question. I think the furthest we can go right now with the community center, we don't know what the funding's gonna be like. We don't even know if we can do this. But the thing we can do now is get some land for the
yes,
future. And that's gonna be a big drive to do that.
okay.
And part of this big.
And this is land from developing people who need to give
Well,
land
you know, we've got
to-
that, it's, you know, the community center's on lot 2 there, and there's a whole bunch of land that goes all the way through there and behind Bowen Court and all the works. And so, like I said, we're just talking today about doing a master plan for all those areas. And I said, well, one thing we gotta do is carve out a big piece of property for the community center. Because we do want facilities, there's absolutely no question. But they're gonna be, it's gonna be on demand, and it's gonna be fundraising and a whole bunch of other stuff, because I think we've gone as far as we can go at the present time. And you know, that's, I hate to say it, but that's the current situation is, we're doing just about all we can.
Is there gonna be a referendum?
Hard to say.
You don't even know that yet, okay.
There will only be a referendum if we don't have enough money to pay for it.
Right.
And if, what we're hoping is we'll have everything funding except the municipal hall, which is self-funding. We still have to borrow the money, but there's no tax implications. So we still have to go to referendum. We probably wouldn't go to referendum, probably do it the other way. What's that thing called? Everybody remember?
Alternative.
Alternative, yes.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you, Steph. In which case, we don't have to go to a referendum, we just put it out to the public and say, here's what we're doing, and we get 90 days to
Just great.
say.
So the finance subcommittee met today, and we're looking
Okay.
at how much grant money we're hoping to raise, and also from donations. We can probably just kind of where those numbers are starting to fall, and we're working on the operations plan. for
Yeah,
the facility,
huge,
which will
yeah.
create the business plan, which will help create the case for support and the fundraising, and all that, and the grant applications. So that's all kind of starting to come together.
There was lots of presentations at UBCM, and they went very well. They were very well received, but, you know, sitting across from somebody at the table is different than them giving you a whole bunch of money, so we'll see how it shakes down.
Yeah.
And of course,
Okay.
Bowen's being stretched now with the fire hall and the library and, you know, so.
Well, the library hasn't cost us anything.
No,
That's
library's
just
all
been
publicly
donations.
funded, yeah.
Okay.
So that hasn't cost anything.
But
The
that's
fire hall
donations.
Will.
Yeah.
So people might have
Fire hall's
Yeah,
$70
we-
bucks.
not deep pockets.
Ask us donate or we'll
Yeah,
list who want to donate
But I
again.
think they got quite a bit of money grants too, didn't they? The library?
For
For the,
co-comments?
yeah.
Yeah, I would say, because I think they were up around 600 out of the 9, and then the feds came in with 250 grand or something like that. So it just capped it. So, I mean, that was tremendous, amazing. You know, to come up with 2/3 of the money for the public, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
Sean,
so
would
any
you-
other things we want as high or mid?
Because if the community center is not something that we don't know for 2018, what's gonna happen there? Is there something that we can pick off of here that we're all, that-
Low hanging fruit.
yeah, exactly. I like picking the low hanging
Yeah,
fruit,
why not?
right?
I think for the community center right now is for this committee, if you can become familiar with the FAQs that are on the project website, irelandplace.com. If you can be a positive advocate out there in the community.
Our
Yeah, positive advocate out in the community. No. Unless you disagree with it.
As long as curling's on there, I'll be fine.
But I think those are kind of.
We may be able to figure that out for you.
So that can be our action item
That can be
for
the
the Sparkle
action.
Community Center.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Okay,
I
that's
would-
fair.
Google
That's
it,
good.
Google it.
I would like to make a top priority
You want it, you Google it.
you know, sort of, if there's already momentum with the council about figuring out how to utilize the parklands, municipal parklands better, I think like a top priority, and that's a, you know, a tangible act that we can do is, you know, start to communicate with municipal council and then start to actually come up with real things that we can do to get that land used, like some of the pop-ups
Yes.
or
Okay.
going out in the community and like
Frisbee
your
golf,
friends
yeah.
saying, let's get the,
Yeah.
you know. So I would say in terms of a
Yeah.
tangible, let's sit
Yeah.
down and make this happen, I would say, for, you know, to liaise with
Identify.
the uni, do the research we need to do to figure out what's out there, and then start making, taking action on how we can get that, get those parks that are used.
Yeah,
I think we're in
that's
that
great.
first step though, right? Because
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sean's
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
that first step,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
so she can just report back.
So-
Is there
So
any
I
way
was
you can
identified
draw up
to
some,
hear
a map
from-
of where
For the
you
community
went?
to hear from
and-
us that we really want to.
And
Yeah.
like dimensions
Get
and
going on
things
this
that
and-
we could look at, or maybe we can go
Or
on a
just
tour.
go, yeah, we could just organize a tour and come up with some ideas and
I'd like that.
plans and, yeah,
I'd be into that.
okay.
Gary, are we counting on you to
Yeah.
express what kind of lands we're looking for around community center?
Ended up on an
Or is that something we have to come to a committee and say,
Never left.
It's early days, and I would say that the important part, it's just for the skate park, is that, you know, sometimes these guys are gonna get their organization together, and they've gotta get together with, what's it called, for the bike park guys?
A new line.
New line guys, and they gotta say, hey, you know, we haven't got $500,000 to spend here, we got 100,000, because the guy said, you know, $120,000. We'll get you a really nice
Really?
park, yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
It's not gonna be huge.
No.
But it'll have all the different variations in it, and it'll also be very flexible, so you can have the dirt bikes in there, and you can also have skateboards in there, and sort of, you know,
Yeah, we don't want it too hard.
no,
Because that, you know, that first bike park we built was
yeah,
too hard.
yeah, no, yeah.
So the people who would
Hurt.
use it were,
Really hurt a lot.
couldn't do it,
Yeah.
right? So we wanna have it,
And they have the capability of doing that. They say, all we have to know is what you require, and we can put it together for you. So they gotta do that, and then come up with sort of the amount of land they're gonna need. And this is something that John and
Rod
those
Marsh
guys,
are
and
working
Rod
on
and
it.
Marsh can get together and talk to those guys and come up with some numbers. But like I said, what we're doing right now is just pushing the idea of the bike park, or the skateboard park, and, you know, get that implanted in council's mind that it's a good thing to happen. And then we can just decide how much land we need to make that happen.
yeah, I just,
In
I,
real
you know,
world.
I would hate to see them plan everything out and there isn't a spot.
No, I know,
Yeah.
no, I know.
It
Oh,
just
no,
doesn't happen.
Well,
again.
as long as it happens while I'm there, you know, then there'll be a
You'll be
spot
the
for it.
voice.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
good.
That's only, you know, another year.
Okay. So, in terms of priorities, then, just so, positive advocate for the community center, becoming familiar with the FAQs in case people are asking.
Those are both in the minutes of the last meeting, the FAQs and the.
Promote unstructured, non-facilitated pop-up events at various parks or beaches around the island to encourage families to access the facilities at a particular time. Organize volunteers to lead pop-up events, hikes on trails, particular time and meeting place, that's a high priority. Explore ideas of the underused municipal parks and what uses would be appropriate to activate them.